Diener 89. Oh my God, I was looking forward to this movie so much. This is, of course, starring the fictional character of Dean Murdoch. They're all fictional characters in movies, aren't they? Obviously, you guys know Dean and Terry from the Fubar series and love the Fubar movies. Saw them all in the theater, own them on Blu-ray. I even watch all the stuff on YouTube, and there was the Age of Computer series and all that stuff. Love those two characters. I couldn't believe there was another movie coming out. This is just Dean this time around. It's sort of like a prequel, sequel, but it kind of stands on its own. It doesn't really follow the other ones in the format exactly. The other ones were like those mockumentary style. This one is more like an interview. It's almost like I don't want. Oh gosh, I don't want to say Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap, but like kind of ish, right? Where it's still fictionalized the background, but it's sort of in an interview style. So if you've seen any of these old, metal star interviews, like like a Dio or something like that, it's like so it's Dean sitting in his house and he's telling the story of Diener, like, oh, he goes, you got to go back to 1989, and then they go back, and then it's a movie intercut a little bit with him going back to the interview talking. So they kept a little bit of that documentary feel, but not really. It's a movie. It's just a movie. And at first I wasn't sure what I thought about that, to be honest, because I kind of like that mockumentary style, but I really liked this movie. I really got into it pretty hard. I'm going to use my space system to talk about it. So that's story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. This is going to score very high. And it might sound like I'm shilling for it a little bit. The thing is that my space system is used to gauge the promise of the movie that you're given. So if you're doing Die Hard, let's say you saw the trailer for this movie called Die Hard, it looks like it's an action movie. How well did it deliver? I'm not comparing Die Hard, which let's say is a 10 out of 10 action movie, to let's say Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, which is a 10 out of 10 horror movie or slasher movie, right? Because not the same audience, right? So I'm looking at Halloween and thinking, okay, I'm judging this based on, I guess there wasn't really many slashers at all, like Bay of Blood or something, whatever. This is like the one of the first slasher movies, so you didn't have a lot to compare to, but that's what you're promised. You're like, wow, I'm looking at this Halloween movie, and then, whoa, blew my mind. I got way more than I thought. I think that's similar to this movie. Obviously, I'm not comparing this to Die Hard or like Terminator or something, but you saw the trailer and I thought, well, this might be kind of fun, but actually it was very well done. I actually got into it pretty good. Like, I thought it was a really damn good movie. I would give the storyline, I'd give the storyline a 1.5, like out of 2. It was really good. Like, you thought, oh, it'll be about Dean and then he's just doing his thing or whatever, but there's actually a lot more going on with it. And Dean is a great character. I'm not going to get to the character section, but it's the story of how he became rich, because you see him with this mansion, and the actual getting rich part is absolutely hilarious. But there's actually a good sense of heart in this movie. Like, I felt for the characters and situations. Of course, it's in 1989, so that I was a kid in that time. I wouldn't have been as old as Dean. I was like let's say 12, 13, whatever. And but like a lot of the stuff that was there, I kind of like, yeah, I remember that. Even like the details of he's riding his bike, and you don't just stop your bike and get off and throw it down. You would jump off of it. It's like you're riding the bike and you jump off of it, and the bike would continue a little bit and then fall on its own. And that's how you got off your bike if you were cool. Of course, listening to metal and all that stuff. Oh man, it was really done well. Like, I did feel like I was transported back to that time. More so than the other shows or movies that are doing that concept. I know people like Stranger Things, and that would have been more my age bracket, playing D&D and all that kind of stuff, and watching horror movies and monster flicks and everything. But I still feel that that show kind of made it, not glamorized it, but made it too like movie-ish. This felt more realistic. Like, this is what it was. And why is Dean shotgunning beers? Because that's what you do. Like, that's it. Like, why is he doing that? Because it's cool. Like, I don't know what, it's like, that's it. He likes metal because metal's awesome. I it's brilliant in not explaining every detail of everything. It's just like, yeah, that's why, because metal's cool. So I think they did really well with the story. I'm close to giving it a 2 out of 2 perfect score for story, which might seem insane. Like, how is it that good? It's that good because I didn't expect anything other than a fun, silly movie. The Fubar films, I actually think Fubar 1 and 2 are 10 out of 10, which is great. You know, I'm going to give the storyline a 2 out of 2 on Diener. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it and talking this through, I'm really liking it a lot more. The other Fubar movies to me are 10 out of 10 because they're mockumentaries based on these guys. You actually believed these characters were so real that I actually had a friend who thought it was real. He's like, oh, these guys are kind of weird. I'm like, you know, that's just actors, right? It's like, what? Like, so yeah, the story here was great. I got into it. I got invested. I actually got slightly emotional too, just because I was overwhelmed with like feeling like you were back then. So that was great. The pacing is a 2 out of 2. That's very easy because, I mean, it's fast paced. It's only 90 minutes. So there you go. I mean, we're watching like these 3-hour Marvel movies and, you know, whatever. So 90 minutes is beautiful, perfect, love it. The artistry, this is a weird one. There's not really any effects, but I'm going to give it a perfect score for the artistry as well because the music was all great. That's a natural. Obviously, the music's going to be awesome. If you like metal, there you go. But because it felt like it was that time, I'm going to give it that extra point to give it to a 2 out of 2 score because everything looked authentic. They even made an excuse as to why Dean looked older. It's like, oh, I look like that older kid. You're like, all right. I love that they didn't try to de-age him or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, whatever, who cares? I think that's absolutely hilarious. It plays into the aesthetics of Fubar and the movie. The characters, for the characters section, I'm actually going to give it a perfect score of 2 out of 2. Firstly, I love Dean anyways. Loved him in all of the movies. I also love Terry. I was like, oh man, I wish Terry was in this, just even for like a minute, quick cameo or something, but doesn't matter. I love Diener. Great character. You get to learn more about his native heritage. So he's part native and he's got this sister, and she's a great character. She was really good in this movie. I liked his girlfriend. His girlfriend has an aunt who kind of helps Dean discover some metal music, and you know, and I think she shows him how to shotgun a beer too. I think she's the one who shows him. And she's great. Will Sasso plays his dad. He's great. He's absolutely great. This movie has a lot of like, it has some funny parts, but it's almost, I don't want to say it's more serious than funny. There's like 3 or 4 laugh out loud moments for sure. Like I just cracked. I was actually alone in the theater. They played it just for me. I laughed out loud big time on it. I thought it was great. But there's some actual good legit characters in here. So yeah, I was really pumped. I'm gonna give my enjoyment factor a 2 out of 2 because I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie and thought it was actually very good. Different than the Fubar series, but great in its own way. And I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. And you guys are I promise you, I'm not shilling. I'm not getting paid for this review. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10, which seems insane. But remember, I'm not comparing this to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom or Superman or Wonder Woman, or, you know, I'm not comparing it to that. I'm comparing it to itself, which is when you saw this Diener post, you saw the poster, it's like, yeah, you know, you saw the poster and you're like, oh, it's Dean. Oh my God, you know, you had all these expectations. Oh, it's going to be goofy and silly and stupid, but I'll have a good time. But then it exceeded that because I did have a good time, but then also for different reasons. Like I got into the story. The music was great. There's a lot of great metal music in this. It's just like through the whole movie. I mean, the soundtrack, I don't even know if they can release a soundtrack. There's so many rights involved. But anyway, man, yeah, congratulations, guys. This was kick ass, man. This is a great movie. Yeah, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I don't care. It is what it is. I tried to nitpick it a little bit with the story and, you know, maybe give it a 9 out of 10 or something, but no, I don't know. I gotta give it a 10 because I just really enjoyed it. I know that seems crazy, but anyways, it is what it is. Guys, go see this movie. Like, what the hell? Especially if you're in Canada, man. Come on, let's help the guy out. There's only I'm by myself in the theater, really? Come on. That's crappy. Anyway, if you like my space system, you like the way I do stuff, let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, all that good stuff. That's it, man. Until then, keep on giving her.